Last year, over 500,000 people counted more than 8 million birds in their gardens as part of the RSPB's Big Garden Birdwatch. Even more people are expected to take part this year, and for the first time in over 3 decades, the annual Birdwatch will take place over 3 days. Our reporter Shan Robins made a visit to Arne to find out more from the Bird and Wildlife charity.
Aimed at tackling the housing crisis facing the UK's wildlife, and part of the RSPB's Giving Nature a Home campaign, the Big Garden Birdwatch is a survey that's now in its 38th year.
For the first time this year, we're doing something different. To enable those who maybe want to do the Birdwatch, say, at work, for instance, we're running it over this Saturday, Sunday and Monday, so 3 days. And exactly the same, just count the birds for 1 hour and record the maximum number of each species you see, and then put your results in on the RSPB website.
It sounds very simple, but how do they do that in terms of if they're concerned it's the same bird coming back?
What you do is, what we ask people to do is to record the birds that they see, but record the maximum number that they see. So if you see 4 robins together at one time, record 4. Also, we give information on which birds to identify, so you can go to our website if you're not sure. We're also asking people about other things that they've seen in the year. So for instance, if you've seen hedgehogs or foxes in your garden or grass snakes, we'd like to know so that we can build up this picture about what wildlife there is in your garden.
Over 500,000 people took part last year, and with results from so many gardens, the Bird and Wildlife charity are able to create a snapshot of the birds visiting at this time of year across the UK. And even if nothing is seen during your bird watching hour, that's also important information for the analysts to know too, so they can understand how birds are faring.
Some of the first signs of real declines in things like house sparrow and starling were picked up through the Big Garden Birdwatch. And that's really important, because if we begin to see where birds are declining, or even ones that are doing the other, that are improving, enables us to go, why is that happening and what can we begin to do to actually help those species that are declining?
Over 30 years of data allows the RSPB to monitor trends.
Because we've been running the Big Garden Birdwatch for so long, we get an idea of the top birds. And the top birds we tend to see, and people tell us they see in the gardens, are things like house sparrows, starlings, blue tits, blackbirds and wood pigeons. And the easiest way really to find out about these is to go onto the RSPB's website, have a look at our A to Z birds, or have a look at our Birdwatch page. And it gives you very simple, very quick tips for how to identify and tell the different birds apart. And that's part of the fun. This is really about getting to know your common birds and those around you. And sometimes you might just see something that little bit different. And what we'd like to see is more of people doing this in the workplace, because again, it can be a lovely social thing, sitting there just for an hour over your lunch, cup of tea, having a look at what you've got locally.
I got into birds many years ago, and I worked with people with learning disabilities, and I supported somebody who wanted to go bird watching, and I just got hooked myself, and I've loved them ever since, and it's become a real hobby for me in my life. It's a big part of my life.
I like them because they're part of nature. They're a part of nature that actually is not being fiddled around with by humans. There are some very colourful birds, and I'm intrigued by that. And yes, it's just very nice to see that aspect of nature.
Do you encourage birds into your own garden?
Yes, I do. I've got 2 bird tables, and also we hang things from the trees. And yes, we spend quite a bit of money on seeds, in fact.
And what about water? At this time of year, I think sometimes it's quite difficult for the birds. Do you do anything for them?
Yes, we've got a bird bath, and in fact we change the water, or at this time of year we change the ice, because of course the birds can't get at the water if it's frozen.
The Big Garden Birdwatch is a really simple survey. Anybody can do it, however small or large patch of ground you've got. It can be in a park, in your garden, in your backyard, where you like to go. The thing is that this is really about connecting with nature and giving something to those birds by actually helping us build up this long data set so that we can look at the trends. And it's really important because ultimately this is about how do we make sure there's more nature in the future than there is at the moment.
If you want to get involved, the Big Garden Birdwatch takes place for 1 hour of your choice on the 28th, 29th and 30th of January this year. This is Shan Robins for That's Solent.